Roaming Dan asked me about my top 10 most memorable games of all time. So not your favorite games of all time, but just the games that meant the most to you. For one reason or another. Well, I made a top 10. I just wrote the top 10 down without any notes. So I thought I'm just gonna wing it, improvise. If I need to cut, I'll cut here and there. We'll just see how it goes. Let's start at number 10. Mario Kart Wii. Yeah, Mario Kart Wii is my favorite Mario Kart game of the franchise, and one of the reasons I really love the Wii. It kind of has a sad story behind it, because in 2008 I lost my kid sister. She was 17, I was 19, and yeah, it was a horrible, weird time after that for our family and friends, obviously. And one thing we did to well, keep the family together and keep our minds occupied was buy a Nintendo Wii. And yeah, we grew closer than ever before, basically. And we played a lot of Mario Kart, even more than the Wii Sports games. And especially with Taya, my best friend. I believe I even have a picture of us, or a few pictures of us back then playing it. And there were a lot of long nights, and my dad joined in, and even my mom sometimes. And it was just a game that everyone could play when they came over, you know. And I still love the motion controls. When I bought Mario Kart 8 for Switch, I was actually a bit disappointed, because I didn't like the controls as much as the motion controls with the steering wheel. Well, from there we're going to number 9, and number 9 is Slime World on the Atari Lynx. I actually have it here. Not sure if you can see it, right? Yeah, Slime World was my favorite game for the Atari Lynx. I had the Atari Lynx growing up, and well, there were a lot of car rides where I was in the back of the car. I used to be a very, well, I was all over the place. I was, there was a lot of energy about me, so to speak. I was all over the place. So my parents had to keep me still and quiet. So especially on those long car rides. And I remember that I always played Slime World, and the graphics for a handheld back then were actually phenomenal. The animations and stuff, and yeah, I even remember dreaming. Of this game at some point. Weird Dreams, Slime World. Yeah, I really loved Ghostbusters a lot back then as well. So it reminded me a bit of that. And yeah, you used to have slime as a toy. Maybe some of you remember it. You could buy slime in these little jars, and well, you could just make shapes out of it, or actually you could do nothing with it. It was a weird toy, but we were all about slime back then. Slime World. If you wonder why I'm wearing this, I just got off lifting weights, and I decided to jump right in with this video. So, Slime World. Oh my god, did I put that down there? I know why. Alright, number 8, Star Wars The Phantom Menace for PC and PlayStation 1. It's one of the worst games ever made, but nothing in the history of everything has ever been as hyped as Episode 1, The Phantom Menace of Star Wars. That time, those 2 years leading up to it, with slowly the toys getting into the toy stores and comic books getting released and stickers and stuff, it was such an exciting time. And I remember I hadn't even seen the movie yet. I went to it with my dad at Christmas, I believe, 99, Christmas 99, something like that, fairly late because it was already out for a few months, I believe. So I knew most of the story because I just couldn't help myself. I was reading the comics and I was playing this game a whole lot. And it was merciless. It was so completely broken, but playing it, feeling like I really was a part of that movie that I still had to see, but was so excited about. You had no idea. That whole experience, it's just the feeling of it. I still see myself sitting there behind that PC, and was autumn, and I knew that around Christmas my dad and I were going to see the movie. We actually made a pact to do it at Christmas, and I remember going to the toy store after and getting my Darth Maul figure, and well, this video game is just for me kind of the face of that whole era, you know. That's that wonderful era, one of the most happiest times in my life, really. And that's why I love the movie Fanboys so much. Number 7, Jazz Jack Rabbit. I'm not sure how many of you know this game actually, because I believe it was kind of an indie game back then. It was released on PC, early Windows stuff, or even DOS. I remember playing it on DOS, and it's well, it's just a very colorful platformer, and it's animals and science fiction combined. Two of my favorite things in life. And well, you're basically a bunny, a green bunny with a red, almost like Rambo-like headband, and a blaster rifle, and the gameplay is just awesome. The levels are awesome. There's not a whole lot I can say about it. Everyone played one platformer or a few platformers till death when they were young. For a lot of us it was Mario and stuff like that, but I just remember Jazz Jack Rabbit was one that I played a hell of a lot. Also games like Aladdin and The Lion King, I really love those games as well, but I really thought about this one, and Jazz Jack Rabbit is the platformer I played the most. It's that early DOS time, and I remember there being a cartoon of it as well, which I really loved. The cartoon was even a bit naughty, I believe. Well, number 6, Tomb Raider 2. Well, Tomb Raider 2, what can I say about Tomb Raider 2? I actually played it a whole lot with my mother on PC back in the day, and later on PlayStation 2. And I just remember us trying to figure out the puzzles, how to get to the next area. It was kind of win-win. I love Lara Croft, obviously. Damn, how old was I? 8 years old, I think? 8 years old. But I remember I was really in love with the idea of Lara Croft, and I've liked brunettes ever since. So. Well, yeah, what can I say that hasn't been said about Tomb Raider? It was revolutionary at the time, but oh yeah, I picked Tomb Raider 2. Well, that's just because it was out at that time, and everyone was talking about it, and I've seen pictures of the first game in magazines and stuff. And I also remember playing 3, like 2 and 3 are the only games I finished in the series, I believe. But well, Tomb Raider 2, I just have the most nostalgic memories of with my mom. I remember going to Lara Croft's house, and we both really had to laugh at that kind of creepy animated butler who would follow you around everywhere with with the silverware, click click click. It was just really funny, really dry humor, you know. Well, number 5. We're going ahead in time quite a bit. It was actually well, around 2 years after my sister passed, 2.5 years, I guess. Yeah, I was in a phase that I really hid from everything, you know, and I wanted to enter a fantasy world, to forget about real life. And I remember watching all through Star Trek, like all the series in those years. I'm talking about late 2009, early 2010, or yeah, around, and a bit of 2008. It's because of the trauma, it's kind of a mess in my head, and that's why actually lists like this are really hard for me, because I have a lot of gaps in my memory because of the trauma. But Star Trek Online, wow. I played a few MMOs, but Star Trek Online, obviously, because I was a big Star Trek fan, and that kind of blew up when I went to watch all the Star Trek series, all the episodes, and doing a lot of reading about it. I was completely into the lore, and on message boards and forums talking with other Trekkies about stuff, and so excited when a new little thing got introduced in the game, and the Romulans got more fleshed out, and Cardassians and stuff like that. I played it for a good 3 years, I believe, and eventually I would log in once a month until I completely stopped. But I still have a lot of fun memories of Star Trek Online. This is going to be another video, but I have an old laptop which I kind of fixed again, and I found some stuff of that era, screenshots of my 3 captains, a Klingon captain, a Cardassian captain, and a Vulcan captain, I believe. Damn, I just played it a whole lot and didn't play anything else around that time. Just Star Trek Online, logging in every day. People who've played World of Warcraft will know what it's like. But yeah, it's a very memorable game because I spent so much time in it and made a few friends in it. Yeah. We're going to number 4, and number 4 is actually one of the better gaming memories I've had with my sister, because when we moved from Barneveld to Elspeth around 97, I believe. Yeah, 97. Well, we really had to get used to everything because all our friends were in the other town, obviously, and I remember at Christmas that year, I believe my father got us a PlayStation, and I was mostly a computer gamer back then, or well, played on the NES or my Lynx, but mostly computer at that time. So, well, the PlayStation actually kind of had to convince me, and everyone in my school was talking about it, so my light just got a little bit brighter all of a sudden. LED. Well, everyone at school was talking about the PlayStation, and well, we couldn't fall behind basically, and it had to convince me. But when I played Crash Bandicoot and Crash Bandicoot 2 and Crash Bandicoot Warped, well, I finished all 3 of them, and it took a lot of hours, and my sister was sitting next to me a lot of the time, and we would take turns, you know. Well, you tried. Well, you tried. No, I think I can do this a little bit better. I can make that jump. I can make that jump. It was just the best kind of positive competitiveness, you know. And I will never forget that. And the quirkiness of the game and the colors. It was where the original PlayStation really shined for me. And I have a lot of memories of us sitting in. It wasn't an attic. It was basically just upstairs, but it was a really big house in Elspeth, really big. It was kind of in the country, you know. And I remember that upstairs there was this huge ass CRT that the previous owners left. I'm talking about, well, I'm not sure if I can picture it, but my desk is about, well, I guess 80 centimeters high, something. Wow, 90. It was as high as this desk, and like, it was a mean motherfucker. And we could both just sit in front of it, and we still wouldn't tower above the CRT. And a lot of my gaming memories of the PlayStation and the Nintendo 64 are spent on that CRT. Number 3. Well, I used to be the biggest strategy game fan, RTS I believe it is called. I played a lot of them. I started with June, and then Age of Empires I believe, the original Warcraft, Command and Conquer, Red Alert, Tiberian Sun, Warcraft 2, but the best game I played of all those, might be Warcraft 3, but that came later, is STARCRAFT. Yeah, I want to choose STARCRAFT as kind of the face of that whole period for me. STARCRAFT, I played so much RTS with Niels Westerning, was my best friend back then. We met up a while back, and really awesome to see him again. But we reminisced about games like that, and we were absolutely obsessed with them. It's kind of sad that the genre is all but kind of gone, you know. You don't see a lot of big games anymore in that genre, or it's not as popular anymore. But I remember, wow, the art style and the music, and it was eerie. It was a little bit eerie. I didn't feel completely 100% comfortable playing it, you know. But it was still kind of like Warcraft, but the atmosphere. There was something about the atmosphere, and I remember those covers, those hats of the different races, and obviously the Space Marines. Man, I remember Niels and I talking a lot about Warhammer 2, you know, the little figurines back then. It's all compiled in that era, those RTS games, and StarCraft, well, is my favorite of all time. So, we're moving to number 2, and this is a really big one for me. And this is about the best memories I spent with my sister gaming wise. It's a combined entry. It's Pokemon Red for the Game Boy Color and Pokemon Stadium for the Nintendo 64. Man, I remember a holiday in France when we both got our Game Boy Colors, and it was just the very best holiday ever. During that holiday, I remember the second or the third day, we went to a big town, and we went to a gaming store so we could get my sister, Pokemon Yellow. And the rest of that holiday was spent trading, talking about Pokemon, even performing that stupid Pokemon raps you see at the end of the animes. We performed that for our parents, you know, stuff like that. We were obsessed, and when we got home, I remember I had to go into surgery for my leg, and when I was in the hospital, I got this very cool card from my sister with Gengar on it. I'm gonna grab it real quick, this card, and to Dennis, happy birthday, and I hope you feel better soon. And she drew a little Gengar there, and well, this was us, this is me, and this was her, and yeah, when I was at the hospital, there was an N64 there, so all the kids could play together, and I had to celebrate my birthday in the hospital, and I got Pokemon Stadium as a birthday gift. And all the kids at the hospital were so excited because the game just released, and we all could play it together, you know, and some of them had their cartridges, their Game Boy cartridges with them as well, because in Pokemon Stadium you could actually transfer the Pokemon you've caught in Pokemon Red or Yellow or Blue and transfer them to the N64 via the transfer pack that you would stick at the back of the controller, and you would play them for the first time in 3D. And the best thing about Pokemon Stadium was it's still the best 3D Pokemon game kind of there is, because they really came to life with beautiful animation work, and I sold it in college, but I'm still planning to get it very soon to well, to revisit those wonderful, wonderful memories, even though I was in the hospital. And obviously when I got out of the hospital, we played it tons and tons and tons. And so really, really good memories, and that's why I love Pokemon so much, because of me and my sister together. Well, number one, here it is. Number one. I'm looking at it right now. Looking at it. My number one favorite game of all time is also the game I have the best memories of, and it's Grim Fandango. Grim Fandango, that's Grim Fandango is that adventure game from LucasArts in 1990. Grim Fandango is that adventure game from LucasArts released in 1998. Grim Fandango is that adventure game from LucasArts released in 1998, and it's still, story-wise, atmosphere-wise, design-wise, the best game I've ever played. The atmosphere, the music, the quirkiness of the characters. There are a lot of lines from that game that I still use today in my own life. And again, this is a game that I played on PC with my mother back in the day, and we were just about figuring out those puzzles together, and she was really into slow bebop jazz as well, so we would talk about the music all the time, and spend conversations when we would go, I don't know, shopping. Entire conversations about if we're going to play tonight, what are we going to try, how we're going to get past that one point, and it kind of led a life of its own. And through the years we did multiple playthroughs of it, and I also recommended it to a lot of friends, and there wasn't a friend that didn't love it after I recommended it. It's just a very unique game. What I actually did back then is that I found a website that had the entire script of the game on it. The entire script, so you could read it like a novel. And I printed the entire thing. And a few weeks ago I actually found it in a ringer, I'm not sure how you call it, a map, I don't fucking know, in a ringer, I believe. The entire novel, it's like this thick, because I love the game so much that I wanted to read it a couple of times as a novel as well. And Grim Fandango really sparked my imagination and my creativity, and told me there, within reason obviously and within good taste, there really aren't any boundaries of what you can combine to create something new. The neo-noir, bebop-y, Mexican Day of the Dead mixed with Aztec culture, that brought just a really weird, unique thing back then, and I haven't seen anything like it. And with whomever I played the game, we were always enchanted by it in a way. And I could talk to my mother right now about Grim Fandango, and it will be an endless conversation, you know. And that is because I still have my mother. That's the most vivid memory that we can always resurface, or let resurface without it being hurtful, you know. And that sounds really sad, but it's actually kind of beautiful. And well, Grim Fandango. So guys, I'm probably going to have to edit a lot in this because I totally winged it, but this was my top 10 most memorable video games of all time.